Hello everyone. In this video I'll be talking to you about Pseudomonas aeruginosa. In this video I'm not just going to list the different characters and features of Pseudomonas aeruginosa. I'm just trying to do my best to make it easier to study and easier to remember. Okay? Okay, let's go. Let's get started. Now the Pseudomonas aeruginosa starting with the word pseudo. The pseudo in the medical school usually this word used to describe something is not true, and not true in my language is lying. So this is a lying bacteria. How come? Now, lying is a negative thing, okay? And this bacteria is gram negative. Also, this bacteria is found on the contamination in the contaminated places. So it's found in the dirty and uncleaned places, but it still gives you a juicy fruit smell. Why? Because this bacteria is lying, and because it's lying, it will always move around, escape, run away. So it's motile, bipolar flagella. Okay, it's motile because she's lying and she wants to run away. I hope you got it, okay? And it's non-spore forming because a lie could never last for too long, okay? The truth will always find its way. And no one would cover her lie, so it's a non-capsulated and non-fermented. I don't know if you got it or not. I hope you do. I'm trying my best. If you didn't, please tell me in the comment below and I will do the video one more time. Okay, and going back to the word pseudo, now let's focus on the alphabet P. P, it produces a pigment called pyocyanin, and B, it is related to the Bacilli family and it is beta hemolytic bacteria. Okay, now I have a rule for this bacteria before we go on. We have one negative, two positive, and three none. What is the one negative? The one negative, it is a gram negative. The two positive things, catalase positive and oxidase positive. The three non-spore forming, non-capsulated, and non-fermented. Before I forget, aeruginosa is strictly aerobic. Please remember this, okay? It is a non-fastidious bacteria found in simple aqueous solution, resulted in contamination of respiratory anesthetic equipment. Okay, where could this stuff found? It's found in the hospital. So it causes hospital-acquired infection, nosocomial infection, as known, and it's opportunistic, okay? But maybe there's a question would rise in your mind that hospitals is a very clean place. I mean, how could this bacteria grow? How could it survive and infect the patient? I will tell you that it resists to common antiseptic and disinfectant, and this is a very important information. Please keep it in mind, okay? As long as it's found in the respiratory anesthetic equipment, it attacks the respiratory system by producing slime layer that help the adherence of the bacteria to the respiratory system. It is isolated from cystic fibrosis patient. Now let's go to more features. It produces water-soluble pigment, H2O-S. I use this to refer to a water-soluble, okay, pigment. Now stop for a second and let's go back to the very beginning. As I say, pseudo starts with P. Here we have pyocyanin, okay? One more information that this pyocyanin produced by Pseudomonas, it's blue in color, okay? I hope it's easy for you. Also produces bioverdine yellow-green pigment fluorescence under ultraviolet used for early detection in skin infection and burn. Virulence factor. Actually, I tried to imagine a certain scenario. I tried to track the virulence factor to make a story. I come up with a story out of my mind just to make it easier. Now let's see how come. Here we have the protease and elastase that destruct the tissue. Why would it destruct the tissue? To facilitate microorganism invasion into the blood, okay? Here we have a microorganism into the tissue. It uses protease and elastase destruct the tissue, then it moved to the blood. After that, in the blood, it has flagella, as we mentioned here, polar flagella for movement, and has hemolysin that breaks down RBCs, okay? Mm, Then we have adhesins, as we mentioned before. It uses slime for this. Also, we have biocyanine, which damages the cilia, mucosal cells of respiratory system. Please, everyone, remember that biocyanine is blue pigment that attacks the respiratory, while pyoverdine is yellow-green attack the skin. Okay, hopefully you keep this in mind. And here we have the toxins. We have exotoxin A for tissue necrosis and endotoxin for sepsis and septic shock. Now let's go back to a very quick revision for the rule I made for this type of bacteria. Here we have one negative, which is a gram-negative bacteria. Here we have two positive. The two positive is catalase positive, oxidase positive, three non-fermenter, non-performing, and non-capsulated. Two pigment is biocyanine and pyoverdine. Two toxin, we have endotoxin and exotoxin. Now, let's take the manifestation of Pseudomonas aeruginosa in the ear. Otitis externa, swimmer's ears malignant, otitic external diabetes patient, also suppurative otitis media, and in the eye conjunctivitis. I'm sorry for my rusty language. Keratinitis, for contact lens users, and endophthalmitis. Now, iatrogenic meningitis. Maybe you would think, how come? And I will tell you, as I mentioned before, it's in the hospital. So it's not very strange to come from iatrogenic reasons. Meningitis, here we have lumbar puncture, endocarditis, IV drug users, and here as I mentioned, IV fluids, and UTI, urinary tract infection. Here, people at risk. First, we have immunocompromised patient with low neutrophilia. As I mentioned, it's an opportunistic, okay? Please keep this in mind. Patient with indwelling catheters and IV users. Going back to the point we've studied Ariel, IV, okay? Don't forget this. And also with patient with chronic pulmonary diseases. Why? Because here we have respiratory equipment. People who always go to the hospital because they're because they suffer from chronic pulmonary diseases. Patients who are exposed to contaminated water. Yes, why? Because it lives in a simple aqueous solution and it's non-fastidious. It is the last point I'd say. It's beta hemolytic. I hope I made it easy for you to study, and the most important in the exam room, it's easy for you to remember, because in microbiology I know we have so many different types of bacteria. It's really hard to distinguish every single type and their characters. Uh, if this video was helpful to you, please tell me. And if you have a certain topic in the medical school that you don't understand, you want me to make it easier for you to study, please tell me in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching.